welcome back to another video, and today I'm doing my February wrap-up. So this month I've read a total of like 7 books. I think 3 of them or 4 of them were for my young adult fiction writing class, and so we just read like some young adult books, but like I enjoyed them, so it's fine. One of them was actually like a really good pleasure read as well, so like I'll tell you about my thoughts about it in a minute. So the first book that I finished in the month of February was Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. I think that's how you say that. This book follows Sunny, who is a girl who lives in Nigeria, but she has American descent. And so basically what I heard was it was like Harry Potter. Like it was mainly like Harry Potter, but like kind of set in Nigeria and with their culture. I just didn't know what to expect out of reading this book. I had to read this for my young adult fiction writing class, and let me tell you how I felt. So in the end I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars, but like a lot of it really confused me. It's not that like, yes, I don't really know the Nigerian culture, but at the same time, I just didn't really understand the magic system, because this does have a magic system, and it was just really confusing. A lot of it was just weird, to say the least. And, I mean, overall I did enjoy it, but I don't think I'd pick up the sequel, because I just didn't really enjoy it as much. I was expecting it to be more like Harry Potter, but I'm a fool for believing people for saying it was like Harry Potter, but it's not. But I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars regardless, just because I think this was like way back in the beginning of the month, but I think I enjoyed a lot of like different aspects of this book, so I ended up giving it a 4 stars. The next book that I read was an author that was new to me, and she actually came to my school when she came to the writers conference that we hold every year, I believe. So my professor actually was like one of the curators of the event, so the author held a workshop, and then there's also like a Q&A with a bunch of other authors from around the area, because this author, A.S. King, is from Pennsylvania, so she came and talked at my school. So I ended up reading Gloria O'Brien's History of the Future by A.S. King, and let me just say it was really weird, but I ended up actually like liking it better than I thought I would. I gave this a 4 stars. It made me want to read more of A.S. King's stuff. I went to the writing workshop that she had, and it was really, really cool to sit in a writing workshop with A.S. King, because A.S. King is a renowned writer who writes like really good like fiction, I guess, and this is like her young adult fiction novel. I've heard a lot of other people read from A.S. King and they loved it. She's also coming out with a new book this year, I think in like a month or like at the end of the month or something, called Dig. So if you want to, and if you like A.S. King, I recommend picking that up. If you've read Gloria O'Brien and all of A.S. King's other books, I gave it a 4 stars. Like like a lot of the fiction that we've read this month was weird, and like some of it was a good weird and some of it was a bad weird, as I'll explain throughout other books that I've read. But this one was a good weird. I'm not like, this is not a major spoiler because it's like in the first like 2 pages, but her and her friend drink a dead bat, which is basically really the weird part for me, and like what goes on. I loved it, and I think reading this will make me want to read more of A.S. King's books. She was such a nice lady. I'll insert a picture of her and me and some of my classmates as well, because and my friend Jen, who she came to, she was cool. So I'll insert that picture somewhere, because it was just a really fun event. Meeting A.S. King was so cool. She's such a cool lady, and yeah, I recommend you pick this up if you really like, it's like magical realism, but not really. I didn't really explain what this book's about, but it's basically about this girl who graduates from high school. Her name is Glory, obviously from the title, and she doesn't really know what she's doing. Like, she has this friend, but like they're not really friends. Like, I don't know, because the friend treats her like crap most of the time. But they end up drinking from this magical bat that kind of changes their lives forever. And I actually really enjoyed it. The bat aspect was really weird, and kind of like the different plot lines that it employs is just so interesting. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 stars, I believe, or 4.5, depending on how I felt that day when I finished it. So the next book that I read and finished in the month of February is actually the book that me and Jen over at Book Syrup, we're actually doing a monthly buddy read. And so we wanted something really cute and romantic to read for February. And I actually think I finished this on Valentine's Day or the day before Valentine's Day. So it was a plus because, you know, the boy wasn't coming over because his car decided to be a butthead. So anyway, getting back to the wrap up. So we ended up reading The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I loved this book. I think sat maybe like 2 days through it. So I did give it a 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I loved what's his face? I don't remember what his name is. The love interest. I'll put his name somewhere, but if I remember. But it was so cute. There was so many doggos. There's so many doggos in this book. Especially, the one, his dog, well, not his dog, but, his dog. It's adorable. I'm not really spoiling anything, but, the summary of this book basically is about, Andy. Andy's dad is this politician, and so there's this scandal that goes on in his office. It's not really, it's kind of specified, but not really. It's not it's not like a super bad scandal that involves her dad, but it's somebody in the office. So basically the whole office is under fire. And so it follows her dad, so her dad is like this big politician, and so he's forced to get out of the running for mayor or something, I don't really remember. And she is getting ready to spend her summer at this college program, so that way she can get into good colleges after she graduates. And so that all goes to shit basically, and so she's left without her college program and without a job for the summer. So she ends up walking these dogs or finding this dog walking company, and it basically changes her summer because she meets the love interest. I forget what his name is. His name is Clark, and you find something out about him that just makes you go makes you want to sigh basically. So because it's so awesome. At first they have a rocky relationship or friendship basically, and then they become closer eventually. But this is basically about summer romance, and also dealing with your friends after they've done something to you. There's a whole bunch of friend drama in this book, but some of it gets resolved, some of it doesn't. But I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. This was exactly what I needed. This was a very summery type read as well, and I read this during the days where it got kind of warm outside, so I read this outside, which if you've seen my Instagram, you'll see. But me and Jen over at Book Syrup, we are actually hosting a Instagram live for this book, and it hasn't happened yet as of February 28th, but whenever it does happen, please follow me down on Instagram at my Bookish Bro Kid 9 Instagram, because that's where we'll be holding it, and you can always comment and kind of give your thoughts or kind of say hi, jump and say hi to me and Jen. So that's a shameless self-promo, but if you also want to hear our thoughts about this book, we will be talking about it. And if you follow me on Twitter, I will be announcing it too on Twitter the actual day that we will be doing it. Yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It was amazing. I gave it 5 stars. The next book you're going to be like, Olivia, why did you wait this long to start this book? And I have no excuse. But I actually read this for my fiction writing class, my young adult fiction writing class. And I knew we were reading this book. And I was like, okay, I'll wait until class to read this book, because it's everybody's favorite. It's so good, and I hadn't had an opinion on it because I hadn't read it. So when it was actually last week, we had to read this book, and it was great. It was amazing. There's so many points in it that made me go oof, oof, like that. Okay, I'll put in that meme because that's what I say. That's what I literally do. but that book is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. And as you can see, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Half of these tabs are just Harry Potter references. But also there are some really good lines in here that I really enjoyed. And I did not know what to expect from this book. I knew what the general gist was about. It's about a girl named Star who in the beginning goes to a party with her friends, and she ends up meeting like her good friend Khalil, and he gives her a ride home, but then they get stopped by the cops, and Khalil gets shot by a white cop. And so that's kind of where the story starts. That's not really a spoiler. That's how this is described. And I really enjoyed this book. I really did. I loved the voices that we heard in this novel. I love Star. There was so many characters who I just hated, because they were written badly, but because they were just terrible people. Like Haley. Her name is Haley. I just really hated her as a person. But if you read this book, you understand why I hate Haley. I think it was really good representation. Again, I can't say that it's good or bad rep because I'm white. I admit I'm white, so I can't really tell black representation. So, but I thought this was amazing. It was so good. I gave it 5 stars. The next book that I read for class, it's a bizarre book. It was kind of bizarre and really hard to follow. But it still surprised me towards the end. And that is I Am the Cheese by Robert Cormier. And this basically is the story of a boy who, there's 2 different perspectives going on, and it's just told in a different perspective. It's about this boy who he's kind of remembering between his memories and something that's happening at the present. It's kind of weird and hard to explain, but the story starts off with him riding his bicycle to this place trying to get this package to his dad or to somebody for his dad. It's weird. It's bizarre. I personally didn't like it just because it was confusing, and I just couldn't put 2 and 2 together until we actually talked about things in class. But towards the end, the ending really surprised me, and that's what kind of made me stick with giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was weird. Every other chapter, so there's hold on, I gotta find the place. So there's regular text like this, but then if you go here, you kind of see that it's told in recording format or something like that, and you kind of find out what's happening if you think into it deeper. But I gave it 4 stars. It was just weird and confusing, and I still liked it kind of, but it was still confusing. And the last book I actually just finished maybe an hour ago, maybe-ish, is finally I finished The Virgin's Daughter by Laura Anderson. So I gave this I think a 4 out of 5 stars as well. I liked it. Before I had started it and I was only 50 pages in, and then I stopped, and then I had to restart it. I wanted to read something historical fiction this month because I was just feeling it. I told Jen at the writers conference that I was feeling the historical fiction vibe, so I've been reading this for a while. But it's called The Virgin's Daughter by Laura Anderson, and so basically it follows Lizette, I think that's what her name is. So this is basically set back when Queen Elizabeth I is queen in England, and it's during kind of her divorce with Philip II from Spain, and her daughter is already born, Annabelle. Jeez, I just finished this book, I don't remember. But this follows Lizette, right? Lucette. Oh my god, I'm sorry guys. But this follows Lucette, and she basically goes to France to spy on this family for the queen because she thinks that though someone in that family is basically a spy for Mary Queen of Scots, who is imprisoned in England, and she wants to get out. And I liked this book a lot. What I didn't realize going into it, because I ended up getting the first and second book of this trilogy from my school library's book sale or whatever, so you can see I got it for $1. I think the other one was $1 too. And I got the first 2, and what I didn't realize was that this is a companion trilogy to the Bolin trilogy, which is by the same author, and it goes the Bolin King, the Bolin Deceit, and the Bolin Reckoning, which that makes a lot more sense because I was so confused because you find out that Lucette is someone's daughter that, like, I didn't even know, and, like, you find that out in the previous series, because I was looking at Goodreads, and I was like, oh, I probably should have read this trilogy before this trilogy. But regardless, I think I got it, sort of. But I have the second book that I might start in March. I'm pretty excited for that, actually. But I kind of want to know what happens in the next book called The Virgin Spy, because at the end, you're kind of left like, okay, like, what happened? This was pretty enjoyable, actually. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I think I'm going to continue on with the trilogy. I might actually end up getting the trilogy before this and kind of figure out what I missed. And if I'm still in a historical fiction mood, which I'm probably going to be after I read the sequel to this. But I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and as I knew I would, and I really enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed this video, my name is Olivia, you're on Bookish Burkis Nice channel, and I hope to see you soon with another video. Bye.